Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here with a quick video. Everything that Elon Musk says, the World Economic Forum said a few years earlier. And we have this new video that's coming out of Elon Musk saying that AI and humanoid robots will eliminate poverty and make everyone wealthy. We've heard this before as he's pushed universal basic income. This is on the World Government Summit's website from 2017. Elon Musk on why the world needs universal basic income. And then before you say, oh, well, that was back then, he called for carbon taxes and UBI within the last year as well. It's not like he just changed his mind on this. World Economic Forum in April of 2020 says universal basic income is the answer to the inequalities exposed by COVID-19. We're going to go into exactly what Elon Musk is pushing for here, including using AI satellites to adjust sunlight to prevent global warming. Yes, this is stuff that he is still pushing, and it's absolutely insane. Before I go into it, I urge people to check those links below and help support us if you can. We have gogetfunding.com, Patreon, and Subscribestar. Thank you so much to those who have helped and reached out to us. We need your help now more than ever. We are constantly bankrupt. I've turned down $1 million a year contract with a major network because I refuse to say what they tell me to say. And even though I'm unpopular among the mainstream and the alternative, it's because I want to stick to the truth and give you guys the real information here. So I don't want to fall into the psyops. I appreciate the help. GoGetFunding.com, Patreon, Subscribestar, and of course, Bitcoin, which you can scan on the screen and check out in the description below, as well as our Teespring store with a bunch of merchandise, which is also linked in the description below. Let's get into this. So I made a post on X at World Alt Media about this because Watcher Guru shared this video of Elon Musk saying that AI and humanoid robots will eliminate poverty and make everyone wealthy. This was at a U.S. Saudi investment forum, I guess within the last day. And this is also interesting because of the connection and the correlation that Saudi Arabia has with AI technology and the incoming technocracy that we've been warning of for so long, which we'll get into after in this video. But I want to mention what I wrote to this. I wrote on X, literally the goal of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Beware the Trojan horses. They act virtuous as they eliminate all independence in your life and under the guise of convenience attempt to convince you that sitting around with social credit scores, playing video games all day on universal basic income while under 24/7 surveillance by robots is a good thing. This is a guy that wants to put chips in your brain attached to a Pentagon-funded mesh network. He's somehow convinced millions that he's anti-establishment, despite being the richest man in the world by far with Pentagon contracts. He's creating his own digital currency, which is in partnership with Visa. That's X money. Because he repeats a few gamer bro slogans, people act like he's based. How easily manipulated are you? Elon is not your friend. Yeah, and that just is barely scratching the surface. I mean, Elon Musk is also registering X as a bank and utilizing the algorithm as a new social credit system and acting like, oh, it's innocent and virtuous because, oh, he's pro free speech, yet he isn't. And he shadow bans us greatly and many other people, including people like our friend David Icke, and make sure that we cannot be seen if we don't follow the new narrative, which, of course, involves massive AI surveillance, Palantir technology, devastating Palestine and Gaza, and of course, submitting to the new cashless society. And this is something that he's been pushing a long time. And of course, he says that he is just following in the footsteps of his grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, who started the Technate Party in Canada, which back in the 1940s and 50s called for a world government based in technocracy. Now, on top of all of this, of course, this goes back a long way. The push for technocracy goes back very far, over 100 years, to Rockefeller shaking hands with Marxists. And they need their own ways from the left and the right to implement this. The left does it by climate policies. The right, all these, it's all a paradigm. The right does it by biometrics on migrants after, both sides arm and fund via the CIA and Mossad and these other groups, terrorist groups and cartels, etc., to create a problem, to come in, get the reaction from the public to come in with the so-called solution, which will be complete convenience. And tyranny comes under the guise of convenience. You will be on a digital ID attached to a central bank digital currency to replace the dollar that they destroyed. And this will be a global standard. And this will also have social credit involved, carbon credits involved. The World Economic Forum has already pushed this out. the World Economic Forum in 2022 on our page called My Carbon said on their website that COVID was just a litmus test for compliance to bring in the new 15-minute cities and the technocracy and the carbon credit scores. There's already nudge units pushing carbon credit scores onto your bank account right now as you speak. You already have one. It's just not mandated yet. But so was the case with the digital IDs for a long time until, as we've warned for years, the UK recently mandated the digital IDs under the guise of stopping migrants, despite them importing the migrants in the first place. You see what I mean here? It just goes in circles. And as they're destroying the food supply, don't worry, we'll give you food rations, poisonous ones at that, on your social credit score attached to your digital ID. We'll ration it to you. If you snitch on your neighbor, we'll give you some meat, maybe. Elon Musk is a major part of this, and yet people bow to him. Elon Musk and why the world needs universal basic income, a tenet of the World Economic Forum. And by the way, Yuval Noah Harari, the right-hand man to Klaus Schwab, said himself that he dreams of a world where people are placated on drugs playing video games. And Elon Musk says very much the same thing, though he says it in a different way, as he pays a guy to pretend to play video games for him. Totally stupid. But he has said that AI will destroy almost all jobs on Earth. And but in the near future, 42% of jobs. But don't worry, you could stay home not working on universal basic income. He also says AI will destroy humanity, and he's the number one person rolling out AI. So there's that. And again, wants to put chips in your brain attached to a Pentagon-funded mesh network, and also creating a hive mind of surveillance worldwide with Starlink, which, by the way, people act like, oh, it's so convenient, it's going to be so helpful, it'll allow us to decentralize. The reality is far different, because with Starlink, what they're trying to do is eventually they come into a war, they bring in emergency orders for the digital IDs and everything that I've been warning about, but they will sever underwater cables and say the only way you'll access the internet is via a password with an account attached to this, but it's not unconstitutional because it's not the government doing it, it's a private company, and you are volunteering to be part of this. But if you don't volunteer, then your life will be very inconvenient and you can't access the internet, other than your live score, which will tell you how much food you're allowed to be rationed. This all sounds crazy, but it's exactly what the Trilateral Commission had been pushing for years, with China propping them up as a guinea pig state for technocracy to eventually replace the United States. This is something that they've been working on for a very long time, and Elon Musk is one of the main Trojan horses in this. Musk, AI satellites would adjust sunlight to prevent global warming. This is from G. Edward Griffin's Need to Know .news. Ed Griffin is a great friend of mine. He just turned 94, and I'm so happy that he stayed consistent. He writes, as Bill Gates has taken a step back on the global warming lie, Musk is offering his own destructive solution to this phony problem. The program would essentially replace chemicals with orbital mechanics. So instead of spraying, we have orbital mechanics. Well, I don't think they'll get rid of the spraying, honestly. They want us sick. But it says his proposal involves two vast engineering ambitions, one focused on solar power, the other on climate control. The first part of Musk's plan involves tens of thousands of satellites that would collect solar energy directly in space and harness 100 gigawatts per year, which, by the way, it'll also be used to surveil people with zoomed-in cameras and biometrics. It says the second part of Musk's vision goes further. Instead of just harvesting sunlight, these satellites could also control how much sunlight reaches Earth. The satellites would act as planetary thermostats. Many people have tired of doomsday narratives, chemtrails blocking the sun, and billionaires playing God. A critic noted that this proposal is solving an imaginary problem with a non-imaginary destabilization. What could possibly go wrong? This is Elon Musk himself on X saying, a large solar-powered AI satellite constellation would be able to prevent global warming by making tiny adjustments in how much solar energy reached Earth. Totally crazy. It's just insane. He says, yes, it would only take tiny adjustments to prevent global warming or global cooling for that matter. Earth has been a snowball many times in the past. This is the guy that is supposed to be the anti-establishmentarianist who is bringing down the establishment. Give me a break, my friends. This guy is connected at the hip with the same deep state and is just a Trojan horse. No one can actually logistically do all the things that they say he does while playing video games for hours a night, which, again, it was exposed that he paid someone to pretend to be him. So it looked like he was a good gamer. It's so obvious when it comes to psyops. So this is one of them, and it's all propaganda. Trump urges adoption of single federal standard on AI regulation. The reason I bring this up is because this is happening from all angles, and just as we see facial recognition vans hit UK streets, but it's not for surveillance. Police insist. Yes, it will be, and it's all about going up against migrants and criminals, and they also have preemptive crime technology so they could stop people before they commit a crime. It's all insane. But Trump met on the second day of his administration with Larry Ellison, a complete monster, who also vetted Marco Rubio to make sure he was pro-Israel enough. The guy who armed ISIS and ISIL, Marco Rubio. Yeah. Imagine that. He is pro-Israel enough because he works with them. Anyway, my point is Larry Ellison, the head of SoftBank, and Sam Altman, who allegedly molested his sister, and of course is pushing OpenAI, who Larry Summers just stepped down to because of the Epstein scandal. OpenAI openly talks about completely controlling the world with artificial intelligence. Trump put $500 billion $500 million into it, into AI. And that was on his second day in office. And that also leads to him meeting in Saudi Arabia with the Saudi crown prince to create an agenda for AI governance worldwide and AI militarism, which happened a few months later. As Elon Musk pushes all this stuff. Again, it's typical. WHO and EU launch AI system to monitor social media and online misinformation in real time. They're doing that through the right as well, with internet IDs to stop children from watching pornography, which again, no one wants children watching pornography. That's a terrible thing, but it's a Trojan horse to get surveillance on everyone as they create a master database at Palantir with Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, who met with Trump in Saudi Arabia to unravel unroll this thing. Same thing we're seeing with the UK Online Safety Act, Ofcom. And now Elon Musk attends a White House dinner for Saudi crown prince and is seated next to Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. It's one big club. As David Icke writes, what you see is a movie, simply theater to bamboozle you. People take sides and choose heroes, when in reality, the elite have only one side. And David Icke, as per usual, is exactly right. Yet the mainstream alternative media will fall head over heels for this, as Trump gives $7 billion to Pfizer and promotes cheaper ways to get reptile venom in your blood with Ozempic. I mean, this is where we're at. They're laughing, they're scoffing as society collapses by design. Zero Hedge reports from nukes to AI-powered drones, Saudi Arabia's MBs bringing wish list to DC next week. Mohammed bin Salman, I should say, MBS. Again, they already made this deal with Trump over AI. They're meeting with Larry Fink of BlackRock and, again, Albert Bourla of Pfizer. And they're meeting with Sam Altman and Larry Ellison. They're meeting with Alex Karp and Peter Thiel of Palantir, who groomed J.D. Vance, who now the mainstream alternative media is pushing as the next guy. And they're creating massive surveillance databases under the guise of stopping mass migration and all these bad things that they created in the first place, both the left and the right. They complement each other, my friends. It is one big left-right paradigm, the Pepsi-Coke paradigm. And it's so frustrating because Elon Musk is one of the greatest examples of shills and frauds within this. And he called for carbon taxes just months ago and told everyone to get injected. Oh, now he's hanging out with Bourla. It's all one big club. And he's a major part of bringing in that technocratic New World Order. And again, I've stayed for over a month in Oxford, UK, watching them unroll the 15-minute cities. Instead of taking 5 minutes to drive somewhere, it takes 15 to 20 minutes now because everyone's stuck in traffic. And you get massive fines through cameras surveilling you everywhere if you dare to drive slightly out of line with the new orders for 15-minute cities. And on top of that, everyone's stuck idling, and then you're taxed with idling taxes. Like it's evil. They hate you. They want you dead. They hate humanity. The whole idea of technocracy is anti-humanity, anti-consciousness, anti-empathy, anti-freedom. Humanity is based in individual responsibility and freedom. Those things are synonymous with humanity. And that's what they want to get rid of. Patrick Wood Look, I have one of his books here. Patrick Wood and Anthony Sutton wrote the books Trilaterals over Washington, which I urge everyone to check out at some point, which goes into the history of this and how they propped up China as one of the ways to bring about this technocratic world order. And no one listened. And everyone says, oh, you're black-pilled, you're negative, you don't like, you must be super anti-Trump and a leftist, or you must be a super right-wing extremist. It's like, all of it is bullshit. All politics is a bullshit. It's just one big club, as I say, and it's all just a trick to keep people sitting on their hands. They say, you're not doing anything. You're not allowed to speak. You're not doing anything if you don't vote. Meanwhile, voting is quite literally not doing anything. You're waiting for the state, the entity that created the problems in the first place, to solve the problems by sitting on your hands and saying, here's a piece of paper. Yeah, sure. I trust this. The most nefarious entity on planet Earth, the biggest organized crime gang, the cult of statism, is going to fix the problems they created in the first place. Because look at every problem you see in life and go down the trail. It's not just following the money, just follow the trail in general to where it originated. It's always a state. It's always a government. People could say, oh, well, it could be corporations. Yes, but corporations are given the endowment of being able to be a corporation as incorporated with the state. They're an entity of the state. I'm not talking about businesses. I'm not talking about family business. I'm talking about corporations. They're incorporated for a reason. With whom? With the state. And that's part of the technocratic agenda. Destroy a bunch of small business, prop up monopolies, use taxation and regulations to prop that up. And I'm not saying, oh, we'll tax the rich, because that's bullshit. That's not how it happens. What they do is they put red tape in that only the big businesses can survive in, and they use it as virtue from the left side, by the way, in order to stop big corporations, but it really just props them up at the end of the day. And then you have the collapse of all these other entities, and then the government programs start failing. So they say, oh, well, we'll lean on private industry, but it's not private. It's actually just a shadow state, which is these massive corporations that like BlackRock and Blackstone and Palantir and NVIDIA, Intel, all these things that will then create the so-called alternatives, X, Facebook, whatever it might be, social credit systems. They'll just create the alternatives and they'll say, well, that's unconstitutional. Well, it doesn't matter because they're private corporations and it's all voluntary. Like Keir Starmer in the UK says, don't worry, you don't have to join the digital ID program if you don't want to. But if you don't, then you won't be able to like do anything in life and your life will be terrible. See, they are extorting people. They're coercing people, and it's wrong. It's evil. The end goal is the destruction of humanity itself. I wanted to do this video today because I'm sick of the repeated bowing at the boots and licking the boots of Elon Musk, the technocrat, Trojan horse, whose main job is to destroy the basis of humanity while keeping people on his side because he says some things that are sometimes, quote unquote, based. How easily manipulated are you? As I wrote on that X post, I urge people to go follow us there, even though it is a surveillance network for machine learning. For that new social credit system, but it's a good way for us to reach people and try to wake them up to this at the same time, as sad as that is. I'm going to close this off. If you want to help support us, we appreciate it. We have Wave Watch 2.0 link below. You'll get over $100 off on this massive sale that's happening right now if you use code WAM, W-A-M, and you use a link in the description. No Wi-Fi required, no apps required, endorsed by people like Dr. Brian Ardis. This is really cool stuff. 1,100 plus frequencies that help improve your sleep, balance your emotions, enhance mental clarity, boost your energy. I highly recommend people go and check that out in the links below. That's code WAM, W-A-M. We have storable food, but no one seems to want to buy it. HeavensHarvest.com. Again, most high quality organic storable food you can find. Code WAM, W-A-M, saves you 5%, as well as you'll get free shipping on it. There's freeze dried food, heirloom seeds, etc. It's crazy that people aren't getting it. This is going to save your life later on, but so be it. If you don't want to take that seriously, it's up to you. I urge people to seriously at least slow drip into it. We have vni.life/WAM, W-A-M, and there you can find at Victory Nutrition International, which is linked below, a bunch of super supplements, including amazing stuff like Protovite. If you use code WAM15, W-A-M-15, you'll get 15% off, or you could just subscribe and save 20% if you use our link. But Protovite is 100 plus vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, all in one bottle. And the before and after is absolutely amazing. The circulatory issues people have before, the loss of negative charge on your red blood cells, and the shrunken white blood cells are a serious risk to your health. But once you take Protovite, the negative charge is restored, red blood cells flow freely, and white blood cells are 4 times their size. That happens in 5 minutes of taking this, which, by the way, it usually takes about a month to do these kinds of things. So I urge people to go and check out Protovite and all the other super supplements over at vni.life/WAM, WAM. And again, that's WAM15 as the code. We have a lot of different options like ditching your doctor and all sorts of stuff that you could find in the description of this video that I can't talk about if I post this on YouTube. But nonetheless, if you want to help support us, we have gogetfunding.com. We need your help, my friends. And thank you so much to those who continue to support us. We could not survive without you. Of course, we have Patreon and Subscribestar as well. To those that pledge on there, thank God for you as well. Like, you guys are keeping us up and running. $4.99 a month or more. You'll get, if that's a month through a pledge, you'll get exclusive content, including subscriber only content, and you'll get previews of content before it comes out. You'll also be able to get private messages with us personally, which we, if you want to send us questions, we're happy to answer those. Same thing on X at World Alt Media if you subscribe there for $5 a month. And of course, we have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. It's in the description. We have a Bitcoin address that you can scan on the screen here or check out in the description below in text form. And of course, we have a Cointree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in if you please, including privacy coins. So all that is below in the description. We have a Teespring store with a bunch of merchandise. And as always, my friends, you can find us on Telegram, Band.video, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and Brighteon at World Alternative Media. The Band.video is going down right away because of the lawsuit. So make sure to go and find us on Rumble and BitChute, specifically at World Alternative Media. We're on Hive, Steemit, and Vigilante.tv at Josh Sigurdson, and on the Bad Guys, TikTok and Instagram, World Alternative Media, Twitter and Getter at World Alt Media, and all the major podcast platforms except for Spotify, where, of course, we're banned. Hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. And as always, my friends, live freely, live by example. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.